and welcome to another episode of the In 90 Minutes podcast. I'm your host this evening, Ahmed Salim, and with me this evening is the whole crew tonight. Got Misael with us. How's it going, Misael? Doing good, man.
Sorry,
John, how are you, my
sorry.
friend?
Good.
Doing all right.
Yeah, David, the infamous David Valentin. How are you?
Yes,
How are you doing this fabulous mediocrity Mondays?
yes. Uh, doing, doing great. But I wanna only those that live in Florida can relate to what I'm about to say.
I know where
Uh,
you're going.
Crappy Saturday, for sure, but it wouldn't be as good as having to replace your air conditioning unit on a pinch on a Wednesday and throwing $12,000 at it. But it is what it is. It went to a better life. So there you go. I got brand new air conditioning. The problem is, paying for it. So there you go. There you go.
Ah, I feel your pain, man. I had to replace one of my units. I have two units in the house, and it's not a fun experience, especially when it's unexpected and it happens at the worst possible time.
It's
It
always in the
doesn't
summer. They
happen
never
in the
go
middle
out.
of the winter. It doesn't happen in the middle of the winter. That would be okay. You'd be like, let's crack the windows open. We got some time. But no. Uh, anyway, so thank you to everybody for joining us. Just a reminder, please make sure to follow, like, and subscribe all our socials. We're on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch as the at In 90 Minutes podcast, and also at Apple Music or Apple Podcasts and Spotify, however you consume your podcasts. So with that said, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. Um, we'll save the meaty stuff later. So let's do some of the housekeeping. What do we have around the league outside of the first team? OCB, I think played. Was it yesterday?
That is correct. By the way, apologies to John, who had the correct schedule. Orlando City did play it at home. For some reason, I guess there were changes made, and the admin for LCV did not reflected those changes on the Instagram account. But Orlando City um, took the win 3-1. A brace for Ellis, and I have to say, fantastic performance from the boys. Sort of washed off the taste of what happened Saturday. Obviously, we're gonna talk about that. But I'm very happy for OCB. It's something that evergreen statement from us. The boys at OCB continue to turn heads, and we played a very fluid, aggressive, stylish football. Um, I'll have to say that Ellis is a up and coming player, and the usual suspects, Taifi and Williams, and Shaq Mohammed, Mr. Shaq Attack. We're all over the place, so I really really love that. And again, as a podcast, we always say it. If you have the opportunity to go see the boys, please do. They need our support. They need to know that we're there for them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I love seeing Nico Rodriguez get to start as well. He's a player that needs to get some games under his belt to, fit in with just to play to get on a run. He's shown that he has potential in the senior team. Had a wicked shot that took a deflection
Yes, that
and
was
almost
crazy.
almost scored. So the dude has some skill. It was nice to see him play. I wasn't able to watch the whole match yesterday. Caught a little bit of it. Saw the highlights this morning. Didn't even realize he started. Um, so that was good to see. Him on the field, him be able to do his thing. Next match is in a week um, at 3 p.m. Way up in New England. So show up, show out. Looks like it'll be on Apple TV. So we'll be able to watch them again. Every game is every game is on TV or streaming somehow, whether it's Apple or YouTube. So be sure to tune in and support the boys.
Awesome. Misael, anything with the Pride?
No, some of the girls are still away with their national teams. They don't play here till August 3rd.
Oh wow,
So
that's a long break.
we're yeah, it's a long international break. A couple of the girls, like I said, they went up with their international team, still going at it. Some of the girls made it back. So yeah, just still waiting.
Awesome. Anything else we need to cover before we move on to the match, or should we just?
Transfer deadline as far as around the league is in 10 days, or the opening. I'm sorry, of the transfer window is in 10 days for the summer transfer window. And it lasts right about 4 weeks, I believe. It's short for us here in the States.
Do you guys
That's
think
gonna
we're
be
gonna
good.
participate at all?
Based on what Ricardo said, and it was a podcast, one of the bigger MLS podcasts. It sounds like we are looking to fill some spots, bring some pieces in.
Really?
Uh,
Okay.
Personally, I'd like to see us buy down or just plain get rid of Muriel's contract, so we can have another DP spot open to bring in, somebody on that left wing or a true striker. Um, you know, as well as eventually bringing in a left back as well. You don't really use the DP spot on a left back, but unless it's like Jedi Robinson, but him coming to the league at his somebody like him coming to the league at in their prime isn't going to happen. So but I definitely look for us to bring in at least a left winger, as well as potentially a left back. It may that he said stuff about the filling needs on the left side. I mean, Brecklow's done a good job, but he doesn't provide the overlapping attacking presence that Poppy likes. So, what do you guys think? You guys think we're bringing, or what would you like to see happen?
Ah,
Sign a whole new, about 18 players, leave about 3 of the guys on the team, and get rid of the rest of them.
Well, it has been hinted by Ricardo Moreira himself that we may be bringing a left winger. No, I'm sorry, a left back. Bring some competition in. He was. We talked about this last week. He made an appearance on the official MLS podcast, and he spoke about his vision and what he expected. And we sort of criticized a little bit of the fact that it sounded like we're just going for fourth. We're just putting all our marbles on that bucket. I think we have already given up at going for the supporter shield. Obviously, after results like Saturday, difficult to say otherwise. But at this point, I think it's obvious that we're gonna see some people say farewell come December. It's obvious when players are the contract, and we're not hearing anything about renewals or extensions. So, but there's a lot of football to be played. I think we are a very young team, very fast. Our manager has a tendency of going for that type of player, and we have seen the difference in the last 6 years. And very thankful for that. But at the same time, if we're gonna plateau and we're just gonna be the lovable losers, and we're just going to be just good enough to make a appearance on the playoffs and be like Grandpa Simpson on that meme, taking our hat off, putting it back on, and leaving, then what are we doing?
yeah. Okay. So that's all the news around town. So we're gonna jump into what everybody's talk about. Our performance against CF Montreal this
Woo!
past Saturday, um, at 755 West Church Street at Inter and Co Stadium. And I think I'll save my thoughts for now. Who wants to go first?
And I can go first because I'm gonna keep it short. Um, Obviously, disappointing. Felt more like a loss, draw. Um, Certain things made me wonder, like from the beginning, starting the. I don't want to say only two strikers, but starting more of the experienced two strikers and just leaving Shaq on the bench off rip. I thought was a bad idea. I think you should have, I guess, maybe started Muriel, who's probably going to get gassed, and then maybe put in Enrique later on. If you're not going to play Shaq, if he obviously he was there, but if you decided that you weren't going to play him at all, then I think you should have took turns with them. Um, just bad. Brecalo, he couldn't handle Prince all night long. I'm not saying it's an easy task. I'm ready to talk. I don't play soccer, but yeah, he was getting smoked the whole time. Just I don't know. Just it just looked like not so interested much. I did like that. It was like we were watching that on one side, Brecalo getting smoked by Prince, but then Alex Freeman was destroying Petrasso. It's like it was like his mission or something. Like you seen him, like he put him on skates several times, and yeah, that was
Yeah,
pretty cool. I think he even hit them all right. But yeah, I mean, just disappointing. Felt like a loss.
absolutely. It felt like a loss. I feel like if you did not feel like that was a loss, you're probably not worried about where we end up this season. Anybody else, David or John, or should I go, or who wants to go?
Yeah, I'll just respond to Miss
Yeah,
Howard. Like, I actually thought David played a great game against Prince. Um, never Prince never let Prince cut inside on him. Never,
Really,
until
in the second half.
yeah.
I mean, the first half, yeah, but like I feel like the second half, I felt like it got a little out of control there.
No, I mean I didn't think I thought he did a good thing. I mean, the dude had one shot as a striker.
Hmm.
That's in my book that's your job. He may have got beat a couple times, but he got part of being a central midfield or central defender is you're going to get beat. You just can't get beat to the middle. And to me, that never happened. I mean, you know, Brecalo baited him into a yellow card. Almost could have gotten a second yellow card or a second yellow card on Prince. And then the penalty that happened wasn't even Brecalo. Brecalo did his job, forced him to go to the outside of him, and then Schlegel came diving in with a horrible tackle. There were two times in that match where I went, Schlegel, what are you doing? Before the ref even blew his whistle. First time was on his yellow card. Second time was on that penalty. And I mean, people can say the guy stole it. They did this. He did that. You look at the replay. Schlegel's leg comes across both of his legs. Whether or not it makes contact, we're going to call that a penalty 9 times out of 10. Just about the defensive backs. That's that. Freeman, yeah, I thought Freeman. I saw some people on X say Freeman had a terrible game. I thought Freeman had a great game, one of his better games. He looked confident. Didn't really get beat. Showed a little more hustle than he's been showing. Yeah, don't show that comment.
yeah. I was trying to delete it.
It's from Twitch, so I
Right.
already blocked the user.
Okay.
Freeman, I thought played well. Santos play. Defensively, I thought we played okay. I mean, we only, throughout the match, we only gave up 4 shots. I think we had 4 total shots, and they only had the one on target, which was the penalty. I just, and I'll keep it short and add on later, but I just don't understand why we continue to run out a number 9 or number 10 or whatever he is in Muriel that gets gassed 20 minutes into the match after making one run. Like you watch him,
It's a good run. Come on, man! But it's like an awesome run. It's like a.
he takes 4 too many touches and or he
It's like
should
a
have just
Ruan
shot
style run, bro. Come on.
it. And it just I don't understand. I know we're short. I know Duncan's not in there, but play somebody other than him. I mean, at this point, I'd rather play without a striker and put you know Ojeda and you know uh, somebody else at the number 10 and just run like that. At least we would have quality on the field that would track back and defend and pass the ball when it's necessary and not try to dribble right into trouble 9 times out of 10. And on that ninth time, you're going to shot that the keeper's going to stop, or it's going to go, completely miss the frame. I mean, it's that's what I'm tired of. I'll save more for later, but overall, I thought the defense had one of their better games of the year, even though they did give up a goal. But considering Janssen wasn't in there, I didn't think it was that part wasn't near as bad as I anticipated it being.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I think I had some epiphanies as we were playing. The thing that got me to start was the fact that from the very start of the game, I think it was like the first 5 minutes, we were on our half. It took us 5 minutes from the start of the game, and I believe we started with the ball to get out of our own half. And then, because I was watching this match and I was just like looking at my watch because it took us 20 minutes to get to a point where we had some kind of organized attack of any type. 20 minutes. 20 minutes, that's a quarter of, not a quarter of the game, but a fifth of the game, 20% of the game, right? 20 minutes to organize against the last team in the table right now. And anytime I say that, I'm not taking anything away from Montreal. But the thing is, we've been there. And when you're at that stage, it means you don't have your shit together. You're making mistakes, you're doing stupid things, and that's where they're at now. And that's how we play against somebody like that. You know? We scored. My first thought was, yes, we scored, but you know how we scored? Off of a set piece, off of a free kick. So great, yeah, we scored, but what does that mean? We can't score regular play against a team like Montreal without having to a set piece like that, And bad calls come, bad calls go, So we can't be like, oh, it wasn't a foul. He dove. It was a foul, and you know what? We didn't play the way we should against a team like Montreal, and that's why we're in the place that we're at. You can't. Last week, I actually watched last week's episode to see what I said, and I was like, for me, it's about the performance. I don't care about the result, and I really don't. A 1-1, fine. We only dropped points. Only dropped. We played like garbage, and if you don't think that we did, then I don't know where you were. Because my son was like, "How do you think we're playing?" I'm like, "Would you be asking that if we were playing Miami or Nashville or Cincinnati?" No, because the score would not be the same. The score was what it was because of who we were playing. It would have been a nightmare had we been playing somebody else. That's my issue. My issue is we can't be playing like this because we know it's somebody below us. We're playing down to them. And actually, I had some friends with me that came and we were talking about the match. He was like, yeah, they'll probably play down. This is somebody who doesn't come to Orlando City games all the time, right? And they were like, oh, they'll probably play down to them. Okay, great. So somebody who's I would consider a casual fan who follows the sports in general knows that. Like what? I just don't even know what to say. The only other thing I thought of was, the next day was the Club World Cup final, right? And you had PSG and Chelsea. PSG was dominating that whole time, right? They were dominating the whole tournament. Their play was immaculate. Chelsea did an okay job. PSG went in expected to win, and they lost 4-0, right? So yes, football is cruel and unpredictable, and we always say that. But the thing is, what PSG has that we don't right now? Consistency. We don't have that consistent performance. We need consistent performance, and we need to raise that bar.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean,
Get
you
off
guys.
of my podium. I'll get off of my podium and look, David. Look at my background. I put it just for you.
That takes some skill.
We turned into Charity FC on Saturday.
But yeah, I mean, you guys know how my Saturday started out. You guys saw my text in the group Saturday. I basically called what was going to happen. It's going to be a long day at the stadium for us. The fact that last place team in the East was able to control the match. Yes, we controlled possession. We had 52% of the possession. But where was our possession? Like Ahmed said, it was mainly in our defending half, not even near midfield. It was between the top of the D and the midfield circle in our defending half. We come out to these games where we should win, and we let at home. These home matches. This match had happened. The Cincinnati match had happened. Who was the one after Cincinnati? The Chicago match had happened. 3 home matches in a row. We come out and we let the visiting team dictate how the game's going to be played on our field. So there's a huge issue there with is it the management, the coach and his tactics? Is it the quality of our players? Is it a combination of both? And honestly, at this point it has to be a combination of both. Because they just yes, Janssen was out. Who cares? He doesn't have anything to do with the attack or really much possessing the ball. But what are our midfielders doing? Our midfielders probably had one of their worst matches of the year. It's the we start off the free kick. We have what, 2 touches, including the kickoff, and we turn the ball over. And that just kind of set the tone for the night. And I already brought up Muriel, but we continue to play Schlegel. That's another person that, as much service cool. He had his save against New York City, but that was 5 years ago almost. This fall it'll be 5 years. But the dude continually, each year, his decisions cause us to lose multiple games. That penalty, there was no reason for him to dive into that. I watched that specific play back probably 5 times since Saturday night, at least. There was no reason for him to dive in there. The ball was going to the goal line, away from goal. Brekalo forced the guy away from goal.
And it's not
Schlegel
even
comes
that.
diving in. That
It's
yellow
not
card.
like it's not like he was by himself with Galese. There was other people there. So I would
Yeah,
understand doing something like that if you were between him, if you were the only one between him and the goal, but that wasn't even the case.
exactly. Yeah. And
It was frustrating. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
and this type of stuff continually happens. We see it. Other people, see it constantly, consistently. We just signed Poppy to a 3-year contract, but we're sitting there at home against the worst team in the league, up a goal, playing for the 1-goal win. That's not a winner's mentality. Period. Simple. A winner's mentality is, oh, we're up 1 goal, let's get 2. Tiger Woods, completely different sport, but I can assimilate it to it. Tiger Woods, his problem when he was young is he wanted to dominate everybody so bad that his swing coaches had to remind him, and his caddy had to remind him, hey, you're up by 7 shots. I think you can just kind of coast to this victory, because there's no need for it. But we're on the exact opposite end of the spectrum where we get a goal and we're like, oh great, we're playing good enough to get the win. Let's just let the other team dictate the game. And I'm tired of it. The performance, if that's what you want to call it, it was a performance of class on Saturday, from both the team and the security staff. We'll get into that later. But you know, not much. There's nothing. Very little. That set piece, I did enjoy that set piece. I love a little bit of trickery there.
Yes.
But even that set piece, I knew once they set up for it, something was going on because Muriel was in a position he was never in. So I knew they were going to try something, something fancy. But still, it's just like
I
when
was shocked that.
people. What's that?
Sorry, I was shocked. No, I just wanted to touch on what you said. I was shocked that Montreal didn't place somebody laying down behind the wall. and
They will
that's
from now on.
That's a kind of a thing that's kind of went out of. It was a big fad 2 3 years ago, and that's kind of went out of play now for some reason. But yeah, no, 100% right, especially that close because that was a little too close to be able to get it over the wall and under the bar. But I don't when this many people can see what our faults are and what we consistently do in our losses and especially draws, and it's the same exact thing every time. It's gonna somebody's gonna have to answer.
David, if you want to jump in, I think
David's
you're
like,
on mute.
no. David's
I
like,
think you're on
no.
mute.
You don't want to hear what I have to say.
I think he's on mute.
Yeah, he is. David, you're
Last
muted.
week, yeah, I mentioned last week that Joe Waterman, that guy's a pest every time we play them. It don't matter how bad that team is, that guy hates us, dude. That guy plays like his best game every time.
Yep. Well, Dave, let's hit some comments real quick. Miss Ayal, if you want to read them up, I'll bring them up. I kind of brought a couple of these up already just to show them.
Jim D, thank you for your comment. He says, I can't believe Montreal forced us back into hucking random crosses. I'm sure that was meant to be something else. Into nobody from the left corner. So many turnovers in the midfield. If they were a decent team, we would have been completely wrecked. Next up, Ray. How you doing, Ray? No shutout, 4 yellow cards before a goal even scored. He also says Janssen would have prevented that ball getting into the penalty area. The players defending on the penalty kick foul had yellow cards, could not attack the ball strongly.
Schlegel still did. I mean, Schlegel. I was going to say it, but if Schlegel makes any significant contact coming in like he did, he would have been sent off with a second yellow because the way he came in, um, you know, that's just something that you know, you, I, boneheaded decisions from the center back that's probably going to have the most starts at center back this year because of Janssen's injury to begin the year.
He's the captain.
You
But
know, you know what's scary to me though? I'm looking at our schedule right now for the remainder of the season. We
It's not a
have
good one.
not counting the Leagues Cup because we have
Mm-hmm.
at least I think at least 2 or 3 Leagues Cup games.
Three, yeah. Yeah,
We
three.
have a total of 12 games left. 12 regular season matches if what I'm looking at is correct. Of those 12, 7 of them are against teams that are above us in the table.
Yeah, when earlier David had
7.
mentioned that David mentioned that Ricardo says that, we were at least trying to push for fourth. I don't want to be negative, but I'm looking at the schedule and I'm thinking it's going to be very hard playing
He
like
should have said
this.
that about like 7 games ago. When we were in better shape. You know what I mean? Hey
you
David, are you
back,
back?
David?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
yeah, we
sir.
can hear you.
Okay,
But yeah,
awesome.
that's really concerning, man. I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong. It happens, but this is a bad position that we're in, being in 6th place. That
Yes,
could
and
go really, really wrong, really, really quick.
John
Yeah,
was asking, who's gonna clarify this stuff. Well, this is from Ricardo Moreira's pin tweet on his account from 2019. This is when he took over. Uh, Once again, Ricardo Moreira, our general manager and sporting director. People always confuse great talent with the right talent. Successful recruitment requires having a crystal clear picture of the team needs. Talent cannot be evaluated in a vacuum unless you are very clear of that. You might end up finding great talent, but not the right talent. Okay. By the way, Ricardo, a person that I respect a ton, a friend to all podcasters, a friend to the probably the biggest fan of the club, somebody that wants to win. And he said this after our performance Saturday. This club has set a new standard, and tonight we fell below it. We're not here to settle for enough. We are here to grow, to demand more, and to deliver. Vamos por más. That's we're going for more. That's something that Oscar says a lot. Wednesday has just started. I have to say that before the game, I was full of hope and very excited. We say all the time that football is played on grass, not on paper. Right now, Montreal is tied with Toronto to be dead last in the Supporter Shield race. We're top 10. There's no reason for us to let them tie at home. We haven't won since we defeated Portland Timbers at home 1-0 May 24th. And I ran into our friend Jared Quackenbush and our good friend uh, Kevin Reese from Stevenage, who comes to Orlando at least 6 times a year. And the consensus is very obvious among everybody. People fear that we have plateaued and that our season is exactly what you see, finishing sixth or seventh, and then a quick exit in the playoffs. And I think after 11 seasons and 10 years, and this club seeing teams that have finished taking it all, teams that came after us or with us into the league, it's heartbreaking. And personally, I take a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of sacrifices to go to the game, and it baffles me that there's still people in the fan base that feel that everything is great, everything is awesome because I went to the game, I had a great time with my friends, and there's no relegation, so we get to do this next home game. This is where we are right now, my friends. The last home win, May 24th, 1-0 against Portland. Our record since the international break is 2 wins, 1 loss, 2 ties. Remaining home games, 6. Remaining away games, 5. Teams who play who are above the playoff line, 7 out of the 11 teams that we have on the calendar. Catastrophic result last night, or when I wrote this. But the season is not over. All streaks good or bad come to an end. If you get hot at the right time, anything is possible. And you may ask, David, why are you saying that? Well, if you look at the two teams that played MLS Cup last year, you will see that Red Bulls is eighth, and in the West, the LA Galaxy is I'm trying to find them. Goodness, they're 15th. Woo! I mean, Hollywood could have not written it better. I think and I finished with this. I think it's time to put action to those words that Ricardo is pronouncing upon which is an indictment on this fan base. I think when I see the pictures of our fan base on game day, when I see the emotion, when I see the people who do not live in Orlando and make trips, and that who live outside of the United States and make trips, and and I always go back to my friends who live outside of the country, and I get to see them and spend time with them. The excitement of catching that one game. Um, and you lay a performance like that, while you cannot win every game obviously, and sometimes there's things beyond your control. You were playing against a team that was utter garbage, with all the respect to our opponents, but they know their season's over, and we just let them get away with that. uh if unfortunate PK. You could argue that our goal wasn't offside, but the fact, guys, is that, like Amen has said time and time and time again, we sort of like play down to the level of the opposition. Why is it that we fall behind away at Charlotte and we put on a performance to tie the game, but then at home against a team that is inferior, we go and lay an egg like that? You are at home in front of your home fans, man, that are making the impossible to to simply go and support you, and this is the best we can do. Unacceptable in so many ways. Unacceptable. I'm so disappointed because we can do better, because we see teams that don't have the support that we have, that don't have the history that we have, that don't have that support away on the road, and they win. And this is the last thing I'm gonna say. Matthew Doyle responded to a fan who said, "Full truth, why are we crap?" His answer is, "Your starting nine has produced 0 goals and .83 xG over the past 2 months, and Papi won't bench him. The problem is Luis Muriel, a man that makes 4 million a season." Um, I I don't know, guys. I don't know. We can say whatever we want until we're blue in the face. To the happy clappers and cornhole tailgate champions, it doesn't matter because we are the kings of negativity, and as long as we exist, Orlando City is never gonna win. But as a consumer of a product, I demand the best. If I go to a restaurant, I want the best meal ever because I'm paying for it, because nobody gifted me that money. Why is it that when we go and follow the club that we love, all of a sudden we just gotta take any schlop they put on our plate and think is great?
Yeah, I agree and disagree with that tweet you said. I mean, our issues right now go deeper than Muriel because we can't keep possession of the ball in the attacking end. Oh, sorry. Um, it's just one of those that we can't. That's 3 matches in a row, 4 matches in a row that you know we can't do it. That we can't keep possession. Period. It's that simple. I'm trying to see how many total touches. Mariel had 28 touches. Yeah, that's not the whole issue here, and why the team's playing terribly. The team's playing terribly because either they're unwilling or being told to let the other team, whoever the other team is, whether it's Charlotte away, Montreal at home, Cincinnati at home, um, you know Chicago at home. They're letting those teams dictate the way the match is played. And I'm sorry, either your players aren't good enough and shouldn't be on the team, or you control the possession and and dictate how the game's going to be played. Not this mess where you're controlling. Yes, you controlled possession. You had 52% of the possession. But like I said earlier, where was that possession? All in our defensive half between the top of the D and the center circle, the bottom part of the center circle. And it's just not good enough, plain and simple. I did like Ricardo's tweet post, but we were also told back in 2021, 2020, when the Wills took over, that they'd bring championships. We've won one trophy and seen 0 championship matches since they said that. That's not bringing trophies. If anything, we've regressed this year. It was looking positive early. I will admit that, but the last 2 months, if anything, we've regressed. We beat cool. We beat St. Louis 4-2. St. Louis is terrible. Cool. We beat Colorado 1-0. Colorado currently is sitting in 7th in the West, which is a much weaker conference than the East. We can't beat the worst team in the East. We can't beat Charlotte, who's been faltering for quite some time now. We can't beat Cincinnati at home. We can't beat Chicago, who is currently 10th right now at home. The issues are way bigger than Luis Muriel. The issues are we don't have a left back. We don't have a true left winger. We don't have a solid option other than Janssen at center back. Breckelos does fine, but he still has some developing to do. We don't have, we continue to play Ojeda, the difference between the team with Ojeda in the middle and Ojeda on the wing is night and day, in my opinion. And that showed the couple times him and Muriel switched out, and we had some looks at goal. But it's the whole problem is we have to control. You win games by dictating how the game's going to be, and
Uh,
we're not
I'm
doing.
sorry, John. Can somebody read the Jim's message and take it up from there? I'll take it up from there.
Jim D says if New York City wins, they are within one of us. They have one in hand as well. New York Red Bulls are within five right now, and Charlotte is six behind us. Those are all the playoff spots. It's do or die time.
No,
Thank you,
absolutely.
Jim.
You heard from myself say that if well, hold on a second. Go ahead, guys. Sorry.
There's one other my dad did comment before that. If you want to
Oh
read it.
yeah, Ray says after their goal, it was embarrassing to see what team was left on the field, and the coaching staff appeared very confused. Yeah, that's what I had said in the beginning of the. Like he's saying, some of that is, like you play the two strikers, and like I said, if you're not a Shaq, then what was the point in doing that? He brought in defense really, really early. Um, and yeah, I think he took Enrique out eventually as well, and we left it up to Ojeda, I guess.
Ojeda and Nico is who they seem to put up
Yeah,
top.
like Nico had, like you guys said, the Nico with the ricochet there that almost went in. But
But he
yeah,
didn't bring Nico until the 80th.
I thought the same thing as Ray said there. That once I saw that who was left, it was kind of like, I mean, I guess we kind of knew from there, like, okay, this is gonna stay like this. We're gonna
Yeah,
draw
we
this.
brought in Angulo in the 59th minute for Muriel. Then in the 76th minute, we brought in Dagger Dan and Kyle Smith for Muriel and Santos. And that yeah, I mean, I didn't even bring up the substitutions, but why you take off attackers again, only up one goal, and it's not even that late in the match. You still have 24 minutes plus
Yeah,
stoppage time left, and you take out your any attack you have. You put in Kyle Smith, who is a very serviceable defender, but lacks with any attacking prowess whatsoever. You
hot
know,
potato.
if Santos is tired, why not give Taifi a run?
We
You know,
have said that if you look at the bench, it was all OCB guys. It's frustrating to me that we see those guys excelling, and somehow they're good enough to make the bench, but they're never good enough to take on the pitch. So why bother? Why we don't fill the bench with eight guys from the stances? Grab some drunk dudes from the wall, and that's it. You got your bench. If we're not gonna use our talent, what are we doing?
and we still
Mhm.
had one sub available too in a game that we should have won at home. We had one sub left. I'm pretty sure, Shaq or Taifi could have,
Right. Give something to the
or
to the
even Gus
terraces.
could have helped out in there.
Give
Doing
something to the
something.
terraces. Like make those guys are natives from Orlando. Just give them something to strive for.
Or heck,
Right
even if you're
now,
going to play defensive, not to cut you off, David, but if you're
no,
going to
go
try
ahead,
to
go ahead.
make defensive subs, we had both center backs on yellow cards.
Yeah,
Going back
But
to my
yeah,
dad's point where he said
no, for
about,
sure.
Janssen would have prevented it. We had two players on yellow cards. If why not bring, the only center back we had on the bench and Thomas Williams, who's shown
Thank
he can
you.
play with the first team, who has been, in my opinion, dominating on OCB on the defensive end.
And,
Why
and
not
that's
bring
my
him in
point,
for one?
John. And that's my point, my friend. We have seen, the thing with Williams is frustrating to me because I think he's serviceable. Uh, Otero, while super talented, had barely anything to do this past game. Goalkeepers were not a factor in this game, and I personally think that Williams there would have been the X factor. Obviously Montreal has tons of film on us. Why not go with the unorthodox? You know what I'm saying. Why not go with the unorthodox? Montreal had a goal that, thank God, it went over the bar. Otherwise, it would have been a banger, and then we lose, and it would have been a worse situation. Right now, we're 35. We have 35 points. I'm sorry, and we are in the sixth position. And going back to what Jim was mentioning, we got 33 points on the table starting Wednesday. We only need 15 to get to the magic number of 50 and secure us a spot in the postseason. Is it possible to do that? Because right now we are gifting points to teams that are below the table, teams whose seasons are over, and we cannot beat teams above us. So, worst case scenario, guys, we may find ourselves fighting in the wild card game, ending to have to play at this point either Philadelphia or Cincinnati, who are the favorites to and finish first in the East. And let's not ignore the fact that Miami has games to make up due to their performance in the Club World Cup. I believe they are 2 games behind pretty much everybody else. So that's 6 points that they're gonna be able to make up before we even know it. And they are
No,
looking
sorry.
at New York
Miami has
City.
played. Miami has played three less than us.
Oh wow, look at that, brother. And I
Yeah.
finished with this. This game is critical. We are 35 points. New York City is 3-1. A defeat against New York City. Listen, a tie is bad. A defeat, if Ricardo's posting stuff like that after a tie against a bottom feeder, I don't want to say. I don't want to see what he's gonna say if we lose to New York City. New York City, they're a bad road team. They're a bad road team. They lost last week. This past week that just happened, and I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm looking for the result for that game. They they're not a good team. They're not a good team. They're incredible in their mini pitch, but you put
Yeah, our pitch is too big.
they lost 2-0 to Charlotte. 2-0. They couldn't even score in a place where we had to come from behind. So what are we doing Wednesday that is going to be different? Obviously, the fan base is not going to be a factor. Yours truly, I'm going to try my darnest to be there, but it's a work week. I got a bunch of projects going on and things, and as you know, drowning in debt now. So I gotta go to work. I can play hooky. So I and it, it's gonna be hard. Human, yeah, it doesn't matter. I guess coming down here, if teams can the weather's not a factor, the fans are not a factor, the traveling is not a factor. Quite honestly, do we really need home advantage if in reality it is a non-factor for us? I mean, in all honesty, can we really win at home? Because since last year, playing in Orlando, it's just like any other day. We can't
It's not
do.
been since last year, David. We've been complaint. We've had the show for 3 years now. It's been a complaint every year we've had the show that we can't win at home. The last 2 years, yeah, they went on the run starting in the summer and they started winning home matches. But you know, those 2 years it was first part of the season. Now it's this year it's after the middle part of the season. Now we're getting into the late part of once mid August hits, once Leagues Cup is over, it's late season. We have once Leagues Cup is over, we have what, less than 10 matches left, I believe, in the regular season,
Yeah,
and
brother,
they're
we
all
got we got
against,
this game Wednesday and then two on the road,
and then they're all against basically all against playoff teams.
and we come back up from League's Cup to play Miami at home.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Out of the 12, it's 12 games that we have. 7 of them are against teams above us.
Yeah.
For the
After
remaining
after Leagues Cup, we have Miami. We play two
after
teams
Leagues
in the
Cup.
West. By the way,
Perfect.
Miami's on a Sunday night. Then
Of
we
course.
play Nashville twice, This is from the East
Oh, it's
teams.
on a Sunday.
Nashville
Great. So we
Pride,
get to watch. So everybody gets to watch it for free. I'm just kidding.
Right, exactly. We got that Sunday
DC.
night
Then we
football.
play DC. Our season finishes the last 5 games. DC away, home versus Nashville, away versus Cincinnati, home versus Columbus, and then at Toronto. And
Nice.
in October in Toronto is very cold compared to here.
Nice.
Remember, John, touching on what you said when we went on those winning streak here at home 2 or 3 years ago. Wasn't it the rumor that supposedly some of the team even stayed in a hotel downtown to make it feel like away because they were winning more away?
I never.
And I don't know if that was ever true, but that's what the rumor was, that some players opted out and went home, but some of them were even staying here on game day in a hotel just to make it feel like they were away.
I did not hear that.
Yeah.
Did not hear
If
that.
Oh,
that's the
yeah.
case, they can come to my house. I got a couch that I can, with a sofa bed,
I think
can pull
that
that
was
out.
last season or the season before, and it was like several games.
Listen, one of the things that I have to say, because it was very emblematic this past week, and I will interrupt this doom and gloom to thank the club for military appreciation night. As I have said a gazillion times, I'm a veteran, U.S. Navy, and I thought it was very special. I got to my seat, and my season ticket rep had left a note thanking me for my service. I'm People that know me personally know how uncomfortable I am with those type of things, but it felt very genuine, and I really appreciated that. And the fact that also the club took a moment to put a table for the uh, POWs and missing in action. That was pretty neat, pretty nice. Um, the um, the night had Mauricio Pereira returning to Orlando. Inchi was in the crowd. A bunch of former players were there. It just felt very, very magical. And we have something that not a lot of people can say. We have a community, we have history, and we have a lot of people that want this club to succeed. And with that said, you and I'm sorry to keep harping on this, guys, but the fact is that when people take time of their week to come and see the boys play, we have to show them a reason to return. And we have said many times, hey, bring a friend, blah blah. And a lot of people tell me, oh well, the game was great, I had a lot of fun, but guys, that we're running out of time to make a good playoff run, and the season's almost over. I can't believe that I'm saying that, but it's a true fact. And one last thing that people have failed to understand is that um, if John said, we heard when the Wolves came to buy the team that they were gonna bring trophies, they're gonna bring the best of the best, and yes, some of the things off the pitch have been exactly that. But in all honesty, does this feel different than when Fabio was the owner? Do we feel? I mean, okay, yeah, we make playoffs and all that. That's great, but we haven't been above that threshold.
I'm going to stop you right there, real quick, David. If the current playoff format was in place with the old ownership, pretty sure we would have already made the playoffs 2 or 3 times, at least twice by now. In the first couple of years, I'm pretty sure we would have made playoffs twice.
No, absolutely. Especially when we finished seventh the first year, 5 points away.
Yep. And while we're on positive stuff about the match, really the only other positive can be said other than the military appreciation and the free kick is Kyle Smith did make his 200th club appearance. That's a milestone no matter what club you play for. Shows time of service, shows everything. So the guy came here when we were still terrible with O'Connor, and Poppy's kept him in, and like I said, he's very serviceable. Very little you can say wrong about him, except he has very little attacking prowess. But as a defender, he would be. There's a lot of MLS teams he would be starting on as a defender, and he chose to make Orlando his home and stay here for his 200th appearance. Basically, the only guy on the team that I want a jersey from because we're both from Cincinnati and ended up here in Orlando. Um, you guys have anything else about the match before I bring something about the matchup?
Sure. Quick thing that I want to bring up, and I believe it has to be done early enough, is that I believe that, and for those that can, it's not like, oh, do this or you're not a real fan. Let's try not to sell our tickets this year for the Miami game. Let's not make it a messy worship hour. I think. I mean, he hasn't shown up the last two times. This time he has no choice. He has to come because they're on the hunt for a good position on the table. So let's make it hell for the guy. And I personally, I'm not gonna sell my tickets. I'm gonna be there because I think these guys deserve to be humiliated on national television. So just wanted to bring that up. Go ahead, John.
I know school just begins right around that time. It's the first day of school for a lot of people that on that Monday.
In
Yeah,
Orange County is August 10th, I believe, the first day of
it's the
school.
10th, so it's like the Thursday before. Okay, but there's reasons to skip school and there aren't, and I think this soccer game is one of the few.
Absolutely.
I'll be putting in time for PTO on Monday because I know even though I work from home, I will not feel like working the next day. My voice, which I'm on the phone quite a bit for my job, won't feel like talking. And I'm sure you guys will hear it come that Monday. But really, the last thing I have to bring up about the match actually happened after the match. In the wall in our quote unquote, and I'm doing air quotes for those watching, supporter section. There was an individual that made his way down to the bottom row. Um, whether he was an Orlando fan or a Montreal fan, it really beside the point. If it's an Orlando fan, it actually on his end made it worse. But made his way down to the bottom row of the supporter section, and lo and behold, a Montreal player comes up. They handshake. They share pleasantries, and then one of our security guards has the audacity to take a photo with him. In my opinion, that's absolutely unacceptable. There's way too many people have put their time and effort into making the wall what it was and what it should be. That just kind of goes on with my thinking that the wall is definitely no longer what it was. Several years ago. Um, you know, Personal politics have gotten in the way of that. We have people leading the supporter groups that are more worried about their status in the supporter group and actually making the supporter groups a part of the community and a part of supporting the team. Um, Absolutely uncalled for. And then for a capo to tell somebody that we're all MLS, it's fine, is beyond me. Well, I saw it, but I was so like taken aback by it, I couldn't even react because I couldn't process what I was seeing. Um, and I'll just leave it at that. Um, but absolute terrible by the security staff. Absolutely terrible by any of the supporters that are in that wall and a part of these supporter groups that thinks that's okay, especially after a performance like that, to let somebody down there to take a photo with an opposing player is an absolute embarrassment. You go try that at Portland, you go try that at Seattle, Cincinnati, put up there. Probably even as much as we hate them, Nashville, you go and try that there, it won't happen. Plain and simple. You go try and do that in another country, because we're on YouTube. I'm just going to let your imagination run wild with it and imagine what will happen if you go into the supporter section in another country and try to do that. I'll just say it won't end pretty for you, and you won't be going home that night. So, absolutely, the security has to do a better job. Way too many. We were sitting there and somebody waltzed right in beginning before the match even began, waltzed right in with a Argentina jersey, which is fine. Argentina's fine. We have players from Argentina, but it had Messi written on the back. We had to get, we saw it. We went and got people involved. They resolved it, and eventually those people did move out of their section, out of where they were standing. There were people that came in without bracelets on around us. It's just been the fact that this is still an issue. The stadium's 7 years old now. We'll say 6 years, taking away COVID year. So the 6 years that we've had the stadium, basically the same protocols where you've had to have an armband, no away jerseys, only jerseys for our team. It actually says in the guidelines something about national team jerseys aren't even allowed. No jerseys from other clubs. Meanwhile, 10 rows behind me, there's AC Milan jerseys, Dortmund jerseys, West Ham jerseys, and a couple Liverpool jerseys, just standing in the wall like it's no big deal. The wall is supposed to be a supporter section. That's supposed to be our base for Orlando City supporters and only Orlando City supporters. If it's somebody new, they have neutral colors on, no issue about it whatsoever. And the funny about that happening with the jerseys is we saw somebody with a Messi Argentina jersey, not the individual that was in front of us, but somebody else, and that sparked a whole, a big conversation where we were all in agreement about why do fans in the United States feel it's okay to go to a match or go to a game where their team isn't playing and wear their team's colors to it. I've never understood that. When I used to go to Reds games all the time and I'd see people, there would be the Reds playing, the Cardinals, for instance, and there'd be people there with Yankees hats on and Mets hats on, Red Sox hats. You'd see random team, those are very popular teams, but you'd see random teams. You'd randomly see like a Kansas City Royals or a Florida Miami Marlins hat, somebody with that jersey on or something. It's never made sense to me. It'll never make sense to me because if I'm going to a game that I enjoy, I'm not going to wear something of a team that's not playing. I'm either going to wear something of that team or wear, something neutral. And it's just it baffles my mind why people do that, especially then to take it another step and go into the supporter section that's supposed to be only Orlando City colors and black or white shirts.
And I want to add something to that, John. Traditionally, it's acceptable. For example, if you're from the United States and let's say you go to a game in Portugal, for example, you're allowed to wear your team colors because you'll become an ambassador, and and people do that all the time. I see a lot of fans, especially from the EFL, and they're always happy when I come over and I introduce myself and say, the team I support in England, and I recognize their badge, and it's part of being a good host, because these people, they have the potential of becoming Orlando City fans. But I join John on that sentiment. I think that there's rules on the wall that have to be preserved. They're there for a reason, for safety reasons. On top of that, but also some things on the stadium have to be preserved because it's our grounds, it's our house, man. That's why personally, I don't like to leave garbage behind. I try to be on my best behavior because it's our home, and there's people there that personally, I'm never aggressive towards away fans or anything like that. They pay top dollar. They probably travel a long way to just support their team away. And if we lead it by example, then when our guys go to their stadium, then they're gonna be treated the same way. Um, but yeah,
That's fine, David, if it's somebody playing, like if it was, not in the supporter section again, but like seeing, this past week, seeing a Montreal jersey there. That's fine because they're actually playing. I'm talking about
no, no,
teams that
absolutely.
aren't even playing.
I know where you were going with that, John. I mean, personally, I'm in our personal chat. I have shared with you guys many times how people dress their little kids. 6, 7, 8 years old in top to bottom messy kit. including the Sox, to an Orlando City game, and I wonder if those parents know the danger that they're putting their kids through. Number one, and number two, how are we gonna create pride, love, and respect for our local club? Okay, Messi's your favorite fan, your favorite player, and you want to support it. Maybe you are Argentinian, you're very proud of him. Nobody's taking that away from you. But let's use common sense. Let's use common sense. I actually sat next to a family, 7 individuals, all with pink Messi jerseys, and Miami wasn't playing. What? Why? I
They
don't
just, in my
I don't get
opinion,
it.
they just need to at Orlando City, unless Miami's playing in the stadium, they need to outlaw that. Which I actually found something out talking to a staffer about that situation with the Messi Argentina jersey. When they do school field trips and stuff, they won't let kids in there that are wearing Miami jerseys or
That the way
paraphernalia.
it should. The way it should. I'm sorry.
Like here's an Orlando City shirt. You can wear this while you're here, but you're not allowed to wear that in the stadium.
That's the
They
way
make
we should do
that a
it.
rule on game day. They wear a Miami and put it in the the email that you get if you have tickets to the match. The before you go email. No Miami jerseys, no Miami shirts, no Miami anything unless they're playing that day. It's that simple. I'm so tired of seeing that Victoria's Secret's pink jersey around our stadium. And people say, people will make excuse for the kids. Oh, the kids don't know. My 3-year-old son knows the difference
If
between
you
Miami
tell him that,
jersey,
I know what his answer will be.
yes, and not a Miami jersey. Being in the supporter section and being around sports, unfortunately, kids are going to pick up language. Done, I feel, a decent job of teaching him that only at the Orlando City game he can say
Right.
that. So when he does soccer for one of the Orlando City programs, the little kids, and this was last year, so he was still only even 2 years old, even younger. And you guys know, everybody knows how fast they grow, but when they're that age, he was doing a drill, and there was a little girl there. I noticed her really early on. A little girl there that was dressed head to toe in Miami, had a number 10 jersey on and all that. And she cut in front of him, and he saw her. He stopped doing the drill and looked up at me with that like puzzled face, like, "Can I
What do
say it?" And I said, "No, Barrett, just keep playing soccer. It's not the time. Ignore it." But my two when he was two, he knew the difference. So saying that a 5, 6, 7-year-old doesn't know the difference, like if we were to go to a one of the friendly matches or one of the Club World Cup match that was here, and he wanted to wear his Orlando City stuff, I would say, Barrett, no, we're going to see. I'm just pulling two names: Real Madrid and Dortmund play each other. We need to wear a white or a black or something. If you want to wear yellow because we support Dortmund, that's fine, but you need to wear. You can't wear Orlando City because those two teams aren't playing. That's just the way I don't even think I don't recall my parents raising me that way, but that's the way I've always thought. You
Got a
go to a
question.
Reds game, you wear red stuff. You go to a not Reds game, you wear maybe a baseball hat, like a Nike hat or something, but you don't wear red stuff. You go to an Orlando City game, you wear Orlando City stuff, or you wear something neutral unless you're a away fan supporting the team that's visiting that day. And
Got a
for
question.
like the most irate thing about me,
Uh,
the thing that irritated me most is the fact that it happened in the wall. In the wall, it happened. Like that is the unfathomable thing to me, is that our security is that lax. Our supporters groups, because this person went right down the central aisle, one the yeah central aisle for where the ruckus is, right between the two capo stands, and was taking pictures with a Montreal player. How he was let to do that, and somebody, like, okay, he's let down there, but then somebody sees him, the Montreal player, coming to him. Security needs to be told, hey, that can't happen here. This is the wall, that we won't stand for that. Not just, oh, it's okay. He's MLS. We're all in this together. No, that's a load of, you know what. We're there to support Orlando. Soccer is. I even commented on a video on TikTok on my personal account. A guy wore a Dortmund jersey to a Chelsea bar to watch the final yesterday of the Club World Cup. And he's like, oh, by the way, I was rooting for PSG. And it's like,
what?
that is the most American fan thing I have ever heard. The fact that first you think you're safe going to a Chelsea bar wearing a Dortmund shirt, and then to be going to a Chelsea bar and rooting for the other team is even crazier. And I put, trying to be a nice individual, something to the effect of, yeah, don't do that. You're going to get hurt. And the guy says, hurt around here, we respect each other. I'm like, cool. Not everybody does. Not everybody from other countries does. You pull that in another country, you're not coming out of there the way you walked in. And I'm not talking about the
Yeah.
level of alcohol you've consumed.
My question is, if you get a Inter Miami Messi jersey, how many panties can you buy with that? Are they 2 for 1, or what's the deal? But anyways, listen. When we play them, it's gonna be a big bonanza for Goodwills and Salvation Armies. They're gonna clear all their Inter Miami gear off the shelves. Maybe at TJ Maxx, somebody will be able to get a nice dish rag out of that pink abomination. But guys, we're running out of time. We're playing New York City this Friday. Jeez, this
Wednesday.
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 Thank you. And it's a double week because Saturday we head out to New England. Another team has more of a season. Expectations, my friends.
I'm excited.
I know,
I think the
rhetorical
New
question.
York game. I think the New York game will be tough. We just always have problems whether it's home or away. Obviously, when we're away, it's a little worse. But I think they'll give us problems, especially in the state that we're in right now, the way we're playing. If Montreal gave us trouble, then I don't see why New York City won't give us any trouble. The New England thing, I mean, I just think it's just like we said earlier, is or not me or us. It was Jim D there said is do or die time. I think like Ricardo says, it starts Wednesday to try to turn this around.
First, are you guys going to be at the match? I know David said he's probably not,
Yeah, I'll be
but
there.
Yeah, I'll make it
I'll
there.
be there, and I'm bringing friends. So
there you
we need a.
go. It's still up in the air whether we're going or not. Just this past week, really, not the match, the security, everything combined, really just put a really sour taste in my mouth about this club. I've been saying secretly that we already know the league is a circus, is a clown show, and honestly, that they don't take anything seriously. And honestly, I'm really starting to question how serious our club takes it. The owners obviously don't care. Starting to question how much the front office actually cares about us winning. The fact that on military appreciation night, the shirt for the military for that night was $50, and it was just a cotton shirt.
That was ridiculous.
Kind of
Honestly,
shows
They
you
do it. They do it every year. They do it
shows you
every year,
everything
same
you need
price.
to know about what the Wolves think of us and what they're actually in it for. Um,
but you see, but then
you
they'll
know,
go and say, "But we gave the military members a 20% discount."
ooh, you made it $40. That doesn't
I
include
bought
tax.
the poster and the patch.
The poster was
Um,
good. Yeah.
The poster was
yeah,
sick, but still, like they used to be what $10. They're now $20.
What, the poster?
the poster,
$5.
$5,
No,
five
it's
Five
bucks.
bucks
five
more.
bucks. Yeah.
Okay.
And
Does
the
it still
patch
all
was
go to the
10.
community fund?
Yes.
Yeah, for the Orlando
Okay.
City
I
Foundation.
haven't
Yes.
bought one in a while. They're usually sold out by the time I get there.
Yeah, I bought it from home. Specifically for that. No, listen. I'm with you guys, and now I'm second guessing. I need to make an effort to be there Wednesday. But I think
Like David, I mean, and I'm not discouraging you, but I'm just where I'm at. Like it comes to a
no,
time point, the
absolutely.
four of us take this pretty seriously. Oh, I think we just lost a meds connection too, by the way. The four of us take it pretty seriously and show up, make our hardest to show up. Whether it's what, no matter what's in our way, we try to show up to these matches. I've missed three matches in the past year. And the first one was because we were moving. The second one was because we didn't have AC the night before and none of us got any sleep. So we weren't going to, we made a last minute decision not to go to the match. And then the other one I didn't go to. I missed one match last year, and that was because I was sick. And, the fact that this front office, cool, Ricardo can sit there. Sorry, I keep hitting my microphone. It's a new microphone. I'm getting used to it. Um, the fact that Ricardo can sit there and type that, cool. But, what have all of us probably been told since we were 3, 4, 5 years old? Actions speak louder than words. And I know he's newer at his position, but if you're going to put that based less than 2 weeks before the transfer window happens, we better sign somebody this transfer window that's going to be a difference maker. Not a Nico Rodriguez who's going to sit the bench and play maybe 2 minutes a match. Not the midfielder that we bought last year and he didn't see a minute on the field. This has to be somebody that's going to make a difference, that's going to come on the pitch and do this. And really, until that time, I'm going to prove me wrong. What have they done the last 3-4 years to get better, other than signing Marco and a 32-year-old at the time 32-year-old striker who can't go a full 90 minutes at one of the easiest positions on the field when all you're asked to do is kick the ball in a 16 by 8 frame.
John, I want a signing so monumental that will remind me of the Ultimate Warrior running from the backstage in WrestleMania to save Hulk Hogan. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys have
Oh
a
yeah.
my age. That's the
But
type of that's what I want. I want a signing that can come in, save the season, and we can say there's a before and after. And I gotta throw myself out. I'm gonna put my hands on the fire. I think Ricardo can do it. Ricardo can give us that signing. His work ethic, his enthusiasm, and his commitment to this club tells me all I need to know. And Ricardo, if you're listening to this or somebody, I know you like to stay in the background and monitor what we say every now and then. My friend, I know who you are. I know the caliber of the person that you are, a professional, and to be honest with you guys, it's there's a sheriff in town. We gotta give Ricardo time to establish, put his mark on it. I mean, he has been here for ages, and he understands the organization and the needs and the players that we need. It's that moment, man. I as an Orlando City fan, I think being that this month is the anniversary of the running of the wall. By the way, Facebook reminded me of that, and I was interviewed by Julia Poe, and on that the day after, I think it's like a day after, 2 days after the event happened, and on Facebook, the Facebook group, I posted the article, and there's a little excerpt where I am quoted, because not for nothing, I was at the heat of the moment. Um, I said, after all these years of ups and downs, it's probably the greatest moment of our club history to date. Supporter David Valentin said, "It's taken us back to where we belong, to our roots. It shows that we're always be faithful. We'll always be city. We will always be purple. That's never going to change." And it was true then, and it's true now. That you just need to buckle up and support the boys. I don't know how we're gonna finish this season, and if we're ever gonna make playoffs at all. But I know this. We can control the things that we can control, and those are supporting the club and demanding excellence. And anybody that tries to cut you into pieces and put you in a box, don't let that person do that, because the reality is that I think after 11 seasons and 10 years in this league, it's time for us to make some noise and challenge for that cup. Finally, that's our white whale. The MLS Cup is our white whale, and we've been chasing it for far too long. I think it's time, guys.
I mean, yeah, but the front office has to think it's time, and the owners have to agree with that, and actually dish out some money to, make the team better, not, you know, just stand pat and collect our money that we spend, two, three times a month going to matches. And, just think the next month, maybe a little more than a month, we're going to have three matches in a row, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday, that we're going to be there because the league's cup. So we're going to be spending money there. And then, I really hope we get grouped, that we don't make it out of the group there because I hate league's cup. But, you know, if we advance, we could have even more games there. And then those aren't even included in our season tickets. And you have to pay those, and then you have to go and pay for parking. And if you buy anything at the stadium and all that, it's just, it's gotten to the point. You look around us and you look at what the teams around us did in the off season. You look at what teams around us are already doing 10 days out from the transfer window, and we're just sitting here seemingly twiddling our thumbs. I know that's very impatient to say, but it's obvious. This club has needs, and they need to be fulfilled, and you know it's not happening. But back to the question, Wednesday and Saturday. Wednesday, we have to take control of the match. If we let New York City control the match, it'll be almost undoubtedly a loss, especially right now with Duncan being on the mend. Um, and we're kind of short a midfielder because I can't remember his name now. The Frenchman.
Cartagena.
No,
Wilder.
the Frenchman.
Oh,
Gilbert,
Gerbet, yeah.
Gilbert.
mm,
Yep. He's injured and looks to be out towards the end of this month. So we don't have much, depth up the middle there. We have to take control Wednesday, or New York's going to run us off the pitch. And we thought Saturday was ugly. That Wednesday could be even uglier. And then against New England, at least it's an away match, but it's a team below us, and we see what we've done this year, basically almost every time with a team below us. Um, you know, I just want to win. Period. It's that simple. I'm so tired of wasting basically my whole Saturday's built around that. We wake up, we chill out, we hydrate, we get the car ready, we leave. We usually get to the lot between 4:30 and 5. We're there making food and stuff. We go to the match, we leave the match. We're not home till 11:30. So that's, 7-8 hours a day that we put towards the soccer match. And it's, the last, 3-4 home games, it hasn't been rewarded. And, that's why Wednesday it's still really up in the air that we're going, is because I kind of really don't want to go personally. And I know I'm not the only one that feels that way. But yeah, I mean, like Jim was saying, it's time. We have to win, especially playing two teams below us. We have to win both of those matches. Then it kind of cures the two draws that we've had at home. Where it's not as bad. But you look at our last, what is it, 4 matches, I think, and what was, I've put it in the group chat. In our last 7 matches, we have like 8 points out of 21 or something. That's terrible. And we have to do better than that. Plain and simple.
absolutely. Well, friends, yeah, unfortunately, it seems that Amir is not going to be rejoining us. Perhaps he has some technical issues. Any last words?
Nah, for me, just win. Just just get the 6 points, please.
Louder than a tornado. Absolutely. We can just win, baby. This
Yep.
fan base is fan.
I just looked since May 28th. We've had 7 matches. We've won 2 of them, lost 3 of them, and drawn 2 of them.
Unacceptable. At
Eight
home, nah.
points. 8 points out of 8 points out of a possible. No, that's just period. 8 points out of a possible 21, and 4, 5. Oh no, wrong way. So there's 2 home matches. 4 of the 7 have been, or no, I'm sorry, 3 of the 7 have been home matches. And in those 3 home matches, we've put up, I think, just 3 points or 5 points out of a possible, no, 4 points out of a possible 9.
Yeah. Champions win at home. That's a
So,
fact.
something needs to change. Everybody who watched us for any time knows what I think needs to change. Um, and it all starts with who leads this team and how it's led and what tactics are put into place. Still think Poppy should have a trophy for where he brought us from, but unfortunately, this season specifically really feels like a season where we've plateaued and kind of we've seen where the mountaintop, which was the last 2 years, even without getting to the conference semi or the cup semifinals, the conference finals, which was gifted to us last year, which we should have won. We've seen the mountaintop, and you know we said it last week. Playoffs should be the bare minimum of not having a failure of a year. 65% of the teams make it, and the whole club, period, play staff, security has to do better. Supporters have to do better. Supporters have to be there to support, not for the social gathering happens before and after the match, but when we're in there at the match, we're there for one reason. And I tell my 3-year-old this when he starts to goof around. We're here to support the boys and to chant, and to make our presence known, to that we're there backing them. I'm kind of right now talking myself out of not going Wednesday. We're backing them no matter what. Um, and that's why we're there. It's not, the social event can happen. You can, but we're there to support the boys and to make our presence known to the opposition that it's more than just 11 players on the soccer pitch. Um, you know, really hope we come away with 2 wins or 2 very winnable games, especially if we dictate how the match is going to be played. Think about last year when we went on a run. How did the beginning of those matches? How did they go? We were from the kick in the opposition's defensive in our attacking half of the field, threatening goal, putting shots on, making the keeper work, making the center backs work. And that's one thing that's missing from Duncan. Is, I know my dad likes to say he's a perfect super sub. The one thing Duncan does when he starts is he makes those center backs work. The dude is constantly moving. That's one thing Ojeda I've come to appreciate with Ojeda. Watch Ojeda next time you're there. The dude never stops moving, never stops getting into position. But then you watch a player like Muriel or a player like Angulo, um, they're just standing there waiting for the ball to come to them, hoping the ball comes to them. Very rarely moving much off the ball, and that's the issue. And I just want us to start winning again.
I agree with that, my friend, and that should be it. Reminding everybody that the fish rots from the head down. So hopefully, like John said, we can have 2 wins. Wins have the tendency of healing everything, and we say goodbye to you all. The only way we know how, by reminding you that football is played on grass, not on paper. Football is cruel and unpredictable. Football is a battle of talent and an ounce of luck. And if you have not cried for joy or anger over football, have you really football? From myself, from John, from Misael, and Ahmed, may God bless you. And as always, vamos, Orlando!